What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation. Well, it's going to stop NBA. It's going to talk a little bit baseball later. Derek Carty will be on. I assume he's not talking basketball. It will be spectacular. Maybe Carty will be just as good as us this time of year as far as basketball stuff, the goofiness that's going on. This is quite possibly the worst slate. I think it's the worst slate. I was telling Kirk with us before the show. I think this is the worst slate we've had the entire season. I think this is it. It might get worse, but it hasn't been this bad just yet. Certainly, we've got a week and a half for it to get worse and goofier. Probably will happen. There's only one game as of right now that has a line that's less than 10. Every game, except for one, is in double digits. Full-on tankathon season. We got the tankathon teams. We have the three teams that are really good that are just chilling. Boston, OKC, Cleveland, they're essentially locked in their spots. They're resting different dudes, different nights. But yeah, here we are. FanDuel, by the way, FanDuel insisted. They said, listen, I know you don't like the Pelicans. I know the Pelicans are tanking. I know the Pelicans have players that are injured. I know the Pelicans have players that are pretend to be injured. Zion, McCollum, sure, whatever. They won't play the rest of the season. But FanDuel insisted that we must acknowledge the New Orleans Pelicans being 17.5-point dogs against the Clippers. That game is at 10:30. Latest game on the slate. DK cut it off at Detroit and the Thunder. That's the back half of the ESPN doubleheader. Kind of a bummer because there's no Cade Cunningham. Detroit rarely gets shine as far as national pub. No Cunningham, no Beef Stew got ejected because Detroit likes to get into fights with everybody. Bringing back the old bad boy days. Front half of that ESPN doubleheader, by the way, is Cleveland and New York. New York is one of three teams on the back half of a back-to-back. The other teams are, I said three, I think it's four. Atlanta, New York, the Spurs, who we're going to be talking about a lot, and Denver, who everybody has a fake injury, and they're all fake questionable because they played 1,000 minutes last night, and they're playing the Spurs, who you're just going to beat them because they have nobody left standing. Kirk Dees, welcome. Happy Wednesday. How are things? You played Ivan Herrera in the early state for baseball. I know we'll talk basketball, but does that mean you automatically win because he had 3 home runs? I'm tilting because I don't have him.
I didn't play Jackson Merrill. I wish I had him in. I should have had him in.
He just signed a contract.
I know. I like they're stealing bases. This is like the old. Remember when this is like the old Potters when they had like Jankowski leading off, and what's his name used to be good hitter. I can't even remember his name anymore. And they used to have Hunter, like you could play Hunter Renfroe for the lefty masher, and then a bunch of Padres who would steal bases all game. It was a long time ago, but it was fun. I like that they're bringing this back. I'm happy to be here. I'm pumped to do NBA. I don't know why you say this is the worst slate of the season. Like every slate is an opportunity. I'm just happy to be here with my good friend Dean, who's very empathetic, great guy, and let's get to this slate.
Oh my God. No, the enthusiasm, it is palpable. It is palpable for sure. Do you want to say what's up to those hanging out in the chat? Kindly hit that like button, do subscribe, turn on notifications. I mentioned Derek Carty. Carty's going to be on later, talk a little bit of baseball, but Neil and the Flannelverse will be taking you home as well as far as basketball. And then you got Roth. You got Roth holding it down. If there's anything going on weather-wise, I don't know if there is or isn't. I've not looked at the baseball slate tonight. I know it's small because most teams have already played or are currently playing. So, yeah, we got you covered for both sports. Thankfully, we're almost home as far as these cross-sport shows, blocks, whatever you want to call it. The NBA season, I believe, ends next Sunday. Fairly certain that's when it officially ends. So about a week and a half more, and then we will be out of it. Okay. Overarching thoughts. I kind of mentioned it here at the top. Are we getting news coming in right now as well? I assume we are. Oh, no, that's for tomorrow nights. Okay. Yeah, the Spurs playing the back half of a back-to-back in Denver. Denver played double overtime game. They gave everybody a questionable tag because Joker played like 50 minutes. Brown played like 50 minutes. And it's the latest game on the slate, or one of the latest games on the slate, coming in at 9 o'clock. I think that's a huge game, and a lot of it we just don't know. I believe our projection team actually is just making the call and saying that Gordon's not playing. Even he's been the guy that kind of babied throughout the year. He's been dealing with injuries. Even though he's officially questionable, they kicked him out of projections. Murray, Joker, Gordon, Brown, the entire starting lineup is questionable. I think it leads to an opportunity to Peyton Watson also questionable too. Westbrook coming off a horrendous 20 seconds or so the back end of the end of last game where he missed a layup and then fouled the shooter for 3, and they essentially lost on that sequence. I think I'm just kind of expecting Westbrook to be a good play tonight. 9 o'clock, somebody's going to be out. If not one guy, 2 guys, maybe 3 guys. I don't know. We'll see. They did end up losing, and like theoretically, I guess not theoretically, Denver wants to win these games, but I don't know how much they need them, the best players, because again, the Spurs. I didn't say the Spurs. The Spurs are without dudes as well. Charles Bassey's still out, not a big deal. Of course, Fox is out. Wemby's out, but Sohan and Vassell are both out. And the big body of Keldon Johnson, his entire body is questionable. He is dealing with a back. So the Spurs could be rolling out nonsense. They could be potentially down to 9, I think, if my math is correct. Paul Castle, Shinpenny, Barnes, Biyombo, Mamashkishvili, Wesley, McLaughlin, Branham, and then Keldon will be the 10th guy. They might be down to 9, and I think that's going to possibly force Denver's hand to rest several people. We're expecting Gordon out. I would say at least one of, if not more, of Murray, Brown, Porter, Watson sit as well. All right. And it's all blowouts. The only game that's expected to be close is Atlanta and Dallas. That's got the highest total as well, Kirkwood, 240.5. Atlanta's playing the back half of back-to-back, but they're also a team that's, jockeying for position. They'd probably rather avoid, I guess, they'd rather be the 7 than the 8, and they could possibly fall back to the 9 as far as the play-in stuff. They would like to host a playing game, I would imagine. Like I said, that's not what their goal is, but right now it's the best they can do. Yeah, Utah, of course, giving fake injuries all their players. I think they said John Collins out for at least another week. It's like, just roll him out for the season. That's it. He's done. He's not playing. Spoiler. Markkanen, they said 7 more days too. Again, spoiler. He's not playing either. It's all sorts of silliness. What do you have as far as an overall thought process? How are you attacking a slate that has a bunch of games that are expected to be blowouts?
That's a good question. But it's like every game is pretty much the blowout spot. It's like it would be so limited to just if we're going to try to avoid them all. And as we know, blowouts don't always happen. I'll tell you what, though, the Denver game is going to be massive. The spread moved like 7 points. Mm-hmm. If you noticed yesterday, it was like 16 or 15 or something when it came out. And, after the overtime game, whatever. And everybody's talking about Joker, but what about Steph Curry last night?
Yeah. 59-9.
Reminded everybody he's still the freaking GOAT and changed the NBA in shooting. You know what I mean? Like 52 real points. That was sick.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see how Golden State plays out in the playoffs, but certainly they have a ceiling. They definitely have a ceiling, and Steph is still 35, 36. When he's on, like there's basically nobody that's more fun to watch. But yeah, it's lighting up Memphis, I believe. Shout out to Steph. Did not have him last night, unfortunately. Didn't play a lot of lineups. He was not my main lineup. That was kind of a bummer. But I was writing about it today. SGA is playing today, and Joker at the 60, 10, and 10. This is the last game of the year for OKC to be on national TV. I'm not counting NBA TV. They're expecting an NBA TV game. I guess schedules can change or whatever. But maybe like a rebut, maybe like a showcase game for SGA. I was just trying to create some kind of narrative. And then nobody's playing him. I think he's really interesting at 2% or 5%, whatever it is. He's not going to be rostered.
I think it's definitely going to be I think he's watching. I'm thinking, and you saw what Joker did last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the odds, essentially it's sewed up, right? But last I saw, SGA is a huge favorite to win the MVP.
Yeah, how long did you look though? Ago did you look?
A week ago. Has it changed?
Yeah,
that's a good call. Do you have it pulled up? I'm trying to fix
No.
my camera, by the way. My camera is blurry. I'm looking like Bigfoot here for some reason, but yeah, hopefully this gets corrected in a second. My apologies.
I hope it gets corrected for you too. I empathize with you. I've had that happen to me.
You have a lot of empathy today.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Here, I'm pulling it up now. So
What do
let's
you
go NBA. I mean, I'm literally just logged in. Awards. Yeah, he's a minus 4,000.
Yeah, I mean it's basically done. But if there's a chance,
He doesn't deserve it. I don't think though. I think Joker actually deserves it. But
well, I mean, like they both deserve it. They're both incredible.
Good point. Yeah.
But I understand, like when people are Joker's having a historic season, there's some like voter fatigue, right?
When the other guy draw just foul baits all game,
Well, I would say he does more than that, but he does a really good job of drawing fouls for sure.
And he does underwear commercials. You seen those?
I did. Yeah. Good for him, man. Get paid. Yeah, this is what I did the rundown. Like how many? What's the best? I was talking about the best 5 players in the NBA, give or take, are not American born. SGA being one of them. Joker being one of them. Who's the best? I guess Jason Tatum is the best American born player. Is that fair to say? We can say LeBron still? Probably not. He's still amazing. Best ever.
LeBron. I mean, it depends if you're saying. I mean, LeBron. At this point, I would say no LeBron, but he is the GOAT of all time.
Well, yeah. I mean, unless you're living in like nostalgia la la land, you're living in 1993.
Shout out to Juggalo Nation, who's all crap. We got Naked HD back in the house. That was a great name. And he said, if we get 100 likes, Kirk will go to a gathering of the Juggalos event and live stream it. I will definitely live stream that if people want it. The next one I go to.
It's in like Ohio, I think the main one or something like that. I would love it if you went, but I don't think you're going. It's in the middle of Ohio, like in like a forest or something like that. Maybe it's Indiana. It might be Indiana, somewhere in the Midwest. It's far away from you. It's going to take more than 100 likes to get you there, but I'm going to hold you to that. All right. Anything else you want to say as far as the slate? You want to just dive in?
I mean, there's freaking news everywhere, like a ton of it. So this is like really, this is just like wait and see and hold on until all this, so you can process this, and then the slate comes down to who can process it the fastest.
Yeah. It's gonna be a mess.
This is like every freaking game bomb. Like there could be bombs like set off. Plus, and then it's like you gotta know like the G Leaguers who's up and not up. It's shout out to projections team. They're there waiting on every little second. So RotoGrinders will have you covered. But what we say on this show probably won't be accurate as what's going down after lock. But we will try our best to guide you.
We'll do our best. You're right. It's just it's a lot of if-then stuff, and I think a lot of the if-then stuff is Denver related too. And
at least Murray or Joker, I think, will be out.
I mean, they lost last night. I think Joker lobbies to play, but I don't know if he gets his way. But they also kind of don't need him, right? Yeah. But if he does play, you have all the salary savers in the world to play him. So you want to play him. So I think I'm planning on playing him, and then we'll adjust. And then around that time, you still have Detroit OKC. So you can, obviously different position. If you have a utility spot, you can get the SGA, figure out some 2v2s, things like that. If you have, if you're playing on FanDuel, you can get to, some of the Clippers, Kawhi or Harden, just kind of figure some stuff out. But you have some things, and we probably don't know, and Denver probably knows. I don't know. They know they're not really hurt. They played a lot last night, a ton, and
they're gonna let Russ do his thing. So circle Russ. You said it right. Circle Russ. Yeah. This is like This is like Russ revenge, and he's gonna go off.
Maybe put in Russ and Joker, but yeah, or just like backloading stuff. It's just kind of I want to know when we know that, because it's 9:00 and more than half the slate is I guess half the slate precisely on DK at least is locked by 8. So I'm going to be picky when it comes to players in the early set. But, we'll figure that out as we go along. Again, we're going to do our best to figure it out. Very first game we're going to talk about. Let's do it. Let's talk about the Kings and the Wiz. 232 is the total. Kings are monster favorites. They've been scuffling. They've been terrible. But the antidote is the Washington Wizards. They are massive favorites here on the road. Who's in, who's out for this one? Well, Sacramento is fully healthy. I mean, Jake LaRavia is out. I guess that's not a big deal. We should acknowledge that. Washington, Brogdon, we're probably never going to see. Kaishan George, who knows if we see him again. Koulibaly out for the season. Middleton probably out for the season. Smart probably out for the season. Kispert out for the season. He's got a thumb. They still have, I guess they have 11. They have 11 bodies as of right now. Anybody questionable? I don't think anybody's questionable. Colby Jones is questionable, so I guess I'll acknowledge that. Sacramento fully healthy. They have some good prices too, Kirkwood. Like Levine is $7K on FanDuel. I think Monk is an interesting guy they can get going in the second unit. I don't know how much he goes if this game gets goofy. If it's like a 20, 25-point game, how much does he stick around for a blowout and not starting? You can kind of get burned by that. But I like some flyers. Sabonis should do his thing for 35 minutes or so. They still want to win. The Kings still want to. They just want to be a part of the playoff stuff. They're still battling. I don't know if you've seen this. It's embarrassing that they're fighting for a 10 spot against a Phoenix team that's horrendous.
Phoenix is so bad.
They're the worst. Yeah,
the worst. And Durant really screwed up. He should have just stayed in Golden State and won a million championships and gone down like that.
I was listening to Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons talk about that, and Zach Lowe was like, I don't know if I have the energy to do it, basically, but I would love to write a book talking about the what ifs of Durant, right? The decision point he had, and it feels like
that would be. I got an idea for another great book.
Okay.
The what ifs of Fantasy Cruncher. The book on the story of all the throughout the years. I think it would be a great documentary.
I genuinely don't know what's going on with that.
I don't either. But I know a lot of people who are upset that I don't know.
I never used that product. I never had any interest in using that product.
I just think it would be a good documentary. Plus, you get all you get the personalities, you get the even Siege is involved a little bit for a short period of time, and you've got the Al Smith lawsuit things, all that stuff. That would be such a good documentary.
I don't know any of it. You're giving me stuff that I'm not aware of, but I guess I would watch it, but I don't know.
Just things I picked up from Twitter and people talk about it.
And you got your
secret chat. In the secret chat. Correct.
You got people that you have eyes everywhere. All right. So what are we doing here as far as the Kings? The Kings are well positioned. They're fully healthy. Jake LaRavia, whatever. You certainly have the money if you want Sabonis. You have the money if you want DeRozan. Levine's been scuffling, but the price is coming down. Same deal with Monk. As far as Washington as a potential cheapie, A.J. Johnson looks pretty good, projected to play 30 minutes. Another potential salary saver is Jalen Martin. The things they're doing with Vucevic is just, in-game tanking him until the game's officially over and then letting him play sometimes. I can't believe they think he's that good, but whatever.
Let him cook.
Well, they don't. They're going to let him cook one of these games down the stretch. He's going to play 30 minutes. And
the only guy they're letting cook is A.J. Johnson.
Yeah, and how much can he actually cook though?
I don't think he's a good cook.
How good are his ingredients?
I think he needs to go back to culinary school for a little.
He's not going to. He's not getting those Costco Kirkland brand.
That's for sure. Although I'll tell you an upsetting thing this week.
What's that?
Last couple of weeks with Costco, they have changed their Kirkland brand diapers to an inferior product from the last one, and it's not good. It's not a good look.
Maybe this is a bad follow-up question, but I don't have a lot of experience in this realm. How does one know? How does one discover how do you know the difference between an inferior diaper and a non-inferior diaper?
Well, one blows out super easy, and one holds it all and doesn't.
So you had an experience where
And so you get stains on pants, you get, things like of that nature. You get, it's not where they.
Is that a technical term? Blows out? Is that the term they use for the diaper industry? I don't know.
Let's just say my kids had more blowouts than are projected for tonight.
Well, it's about 7 projected tonight. So, all right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your watching team and for all that are involved. Yeah, Kings Wizards. What do you got?
I don't have much at all. I think Sar would probably be the best play on. Even though he's coming off 2 bad games, he was having a really nice stretch before that. High usage, 17 shots, and he somehow only made 3 in the last game. But you got to take that usage, 27% usage, and I think, and since he's a rookie, I think he's the guy that if I'm playing anyone, it would be him. You could take a flyer with Vucevic and hope they let him cook a little bit, and he certainly is a good from like a fantasy point per minute. He's 1.16 fantasy points per minute, but man, you're gambling, right? Like and that's just what it is. So those are probably my only 2 guys. Yeah, everyone else maybe, I wouldn't be surprised like if Jordan Poole like took 100 shots. He just played 9 minutes and took 17 shots and had, a really nice game against Miami. I wouldn't be surprised if they, if Sac controls this game, they let Jordan Poole play full. So I guess those are the only 3 that I would be interested in.
I would also mention, we'll talk about the tankathon stuff. Like Utah and Washington are both battling for that 1 or 2 spot. Now, again, you have a 14% chance, 1, 2, and 3. They have a 14% chance to get Cooper Flag. But if you don't get it, you at least want to get the 4. If you don't win the 1, 2, or 3, you want to get the 4 spot. So obviously you want to be in the top 3. But then if you don't happen to win the lottery or win one of the 3 lottery spots, so Utah and Washington, they've lost a combined 9 games. They're 3-17 in their last 20. Good job, guys. Good effort. They probably played against each other, so somebody had to win in one of those games. Charlotte's got the 3 spot, by the way. But the point is, like, Washington kind of sort of needs to lose. Like, it should take care of itself, but Sacramento's been terrible. And, like, if you're rostering, like, good Washington players, you almost kind of want them to be, like, down 10 as opposed to being, like, up 3. Just in-game tanking is the thing. It does happen. There's really no way to know what the score is going to be. But, like, yeah, I wrote today in the survey, Kirkwood, I was like, the projection team, like you said, they do an awesome job. They got to put a number on everything. But I think it's a good time, it maybe was a week ago, to start expanding the potential range of outcomes, just be open to never have range of outcomes been bigger than right now, as opposed to 2 months ago. So, if you want to embrace goofiness, by all means, especially in, those large field lottery type contests where 30% gets paid up top, absolutely. You can tell yourself some stories. All right. Charlotte, Pacers.
So I want to say that though. I like playing some guys. I like playing. I like Sabonis. I feel like a triple double could easily happen tonight. For him.
I like him too. I like him as well. Do you like him more? Do you like him enough to not wait on Joker? I guess you can play him both, obviously, but you like him. You can play him power forward or FanDuel as well. But you like him enough to not wait on Joker.
Yeah, I like taking I mean, if I was doing one lineup, I'm probably not playing him, but like I would definitely, try to beat that scenario for people who are putting in Joker and then he gets ruled out potentially or something. You could a lot of ways to go. So, I mean, he's just somebody I would definitely make a lineup with tonight. And if you're going to play some Washington guy like Sar or Vucevic, you throw Sabonis in that.
Yeah, I like him too.
Or Poole even.
I don't know. I haven't built anything yet. I think it's a fool's errand to build basketball lineups at this time of year at like 5:00 in the afternoon, right? I'm just waiting. I'm just not wasting my time building even shell lineups, things like that, because I know it's going to change dramatically. Hornets, Pacers, 221. Pacers, again, another potential blowout. They are 15-point favorites. Talk about the Hornets. They are third in the tankathon kind of in their own spot. They're 2 games up on New Orleans. They gave LaMelo a fake injury. He's done for the year. Well, I guess it's probably something he's nursing throughout the year, but it was a playoff game. Trust me, he'll be playing. Yeah. So Bridges is questionable. They said he's ill. They also say Taj Gibson's ill. They both officially are questionable. Allegedly had the fish. Nick Smith is also questionable with an ankle. You did mention the G League guys. Like they have like Damian Baugh. Looks like he's available if needed. Like Kenneth Simpson. If you're close enough to him, you call him KJ.
Damian Baugh can ball if he actually gets the minutes.
Can he though? Like, is he actually good, or he's like?
Yeah, he's good enough. He's good for. He could be good for DFS. He's got that game in him. It's just I would much rather him over Simpson, but.
And then Bradley's out, the backup big for Indiana. Mathurin is questionable. Miles Turner is questionable. He's ill too. So again, they're monster favorites. If we lose Turner, Thomas Bryant can become pretty interesting. Obi Toppin could become interesting. So just be on alert for those. I don't think we have then set up there, but I think it's a pretty logical assumption to think that if we happen to lose Turner, then all of a sudden, I guess Bryant would probably be the better play over Toppin projection wise, but certainly Toppin could come off the bench and end up closing, depending on how things shake out. Best you can do. Charlotte, Indiana. What do you got for me?
I'm tilting that I needed Tatis, and he 104 miles per hour, 390 feet to center field.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah.
By the way, are we just betting the over in Sacramento every game until the over is not hit? It's over again. 10 runs.
Yeah.
Just the ballpark there has been great so far.
It's not even that. It's just the Cubs are just a wagon, I guess.
I think the Cubs are pretty good. Yeah. 2 home runs for Suzuki.
Yeah. I know. I don't like that. All right. So which game? The Charlotte. So Charlotte. Yeah. So Bridges is probably going to be out, right? I mean, everybody. Okoji and Nick Smith is questionable. As far as plays go, I'm getting like nobody. So I would just throw this game out. For me,
yeah.
I mean, I just don't see massive upside. I think Indiana will kill him. I don't see like any of these guys with massive upside. Do you? I mean, you could play Simpson. You could, if Nick Smith.
Well, Bridges is a big one. If Bridges steps out, but prices have adjusted enough, I think, where I don't know if I have to play anybody.
You really want to take a risk on a 92? I mean, he scored 55 fantasy points the last game, sure, but like
no. I'm not playing him. No. I'm saying if he's out, there's some uses.
Yeah, then it's like there is. So it's like, I mean, maybe Mark Williams, but they're probably not going to play him way too much anyway, and I don't know.
Yeah,
there's just nothing. I just don't see it. Like Saloon.
He's not good, by the way.
Yeah, like these guys are like slow drips to even get there. Like,
if we lose Turner, though, how do you feel about the prospect of Bryant or Toppin?
I think I'd go back to Bryant, and hope people don't go back to him because of not playing a ton of minutes. In the similar when the similar guys have been out, when Turner's been out. But this is Charlotte. This game, like, they should let him play a bunch out there. So, and he could rack it up. I mean, this would be like the best matchup for him.
By the way, Mathurin officially ruled out, and Turner is in. I missed this. This was an update. Okay. Turner's in, Mathurin out. So we'll get an update on that. That just happened. So, never mind about Bryant.
It doesn't really move the needle for anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Halliburton in your pool. I'm fine with Halliburton. Halliburton in the pool is fine.
Yeah, I mean, you could any of these guys are fine, but this game, I would be very confident in the Pacers taking care of business.
Give a refresh, Kirkwood, because you just got an update on the lineup HQ kicking out Mathurin. So that is of note. Are we getting is that PJ Washington out? Is that what's yeah, PJ Washington out. He's ill. A lot of guys are ill all of a sudden. Hopefully he's going to be all right. But okay, that is of note. Anything else here as far as the Pacers and the Hornets?
No. I mean, you can any of the Pacer guys if you like them, you can play those guys. But I think this game's gonna be a blowout.
I want to see how much our minutes or projection, if anything, changes. Pascal's not been great of late. Like he's playable at 7-7.
It's been horrible.
Maybe it's going here.
Yeah, maybe.
Nemhard should play a bunch of minutes. Yeah, it's not a lot. It's not a lot to love. I mean, I think Halliburton's the best guy, but he's also the most expensive. And if you want to play Pascal, I guess that's fine, but probably not. Let's see, I think we're getting a bunch of notes here.
Play a really low-owned Miles Turner, maybe.
Yeah, it's funny. People weren't going to play him. Yeah, people were thinking about what to do if he doesn't play, but I don't think he's going to get played. And like Mark Williams is not somebody he's a big dude, but I don't know how great he is defensively as far as on ball. And I don't know, is he going to step out to Turner? Turner going to hit some threes. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. But I'm kind of like you. I just feel like this game's going to blow out. I don't like to just assume that, but that's kind of what I think.
Yep.
All right. First game, ESPN doubleheader. New York, Cleveland, 230.5. Cleveland is a 10-point favorite. Should be a good atmosphere, maybe potentially a playoff atmosphere. If there's an issue, it's like Cleveland is up by 4 games on Boston. They have the one. It's locked up. Not mathematically, but you know what I mean. They got to win like a game. They're going to win a game at some point. And then there's New York, who's kind of just entrenched. They are entrenched in the 3 spot. They're 8 games behind Boston, and they are 4 games in front of Indiana. So New York's not moving either. So these two teams that are not moving at all, but they're also these teams don't like each other. They're probably going to see each other. They might see each other down the road. Brunson is still out, obviously. McBride is still out. No campaign. Mitch Robb, who was awesome last night, he cannot play the back half of back-to-back, so he's out. And Cat was out last night, is back tonight with his knee. As far as Cleveland, well, it's just Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome is out, and then Dean Wade had the fish, so he is questionable. Issues with New York, Cleveland. What's popping for you as far as this game?
DeLon Wright. This makes sense. Like I was all about fading him. Was it yesterday when I did the show?
You were on crunch time yesterday by yourself, which is a tough job. I gotta say.
Yeah, I know. Especially when I was with Dave, and I love talking baseball with Dave. So it was like, you gotta leave. I gotta do NBA.
You want to talk baseball, I assume.
Don't go. But anyway, DeLon Wright, played fine last night, 33 minutes. Probably gets a bunch of minutes in this one with the way it is. The problem is that Cleveland's probably going to bury him, right? Or try to, don't you think? And then take their foot off the gas. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, that's what I think.
National TV game.
Yeah, and so maybe you could play Towns, maybe you could play DeLon Wright, but that would be about it for me. And then the Cleveland side, people would probably like Ty Jerome in like a spot like saying for like blowout and whatnot. But with him being out, I think they might as well just, get that win. And I think they all play pretty hard. So Donovan Mitchell looks really good to me at 8,800.
34 minutes it's a healthy projection for a team that has nothing to play for.
60, 50, 63, 50, 59 fantasy points in his last 3. He's cooking.
Well, look at the minutes too. 37, 36, 35.
Yeah.
Which is unnecessary, but that's what's been happening.
Well, I think they're trying to go in. They're trying to ramp up to go in, and then they're gonna give them their time off, and then
they're gliding right now. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. But yeah, they're just
it's almost like dress rehearsal. Like they're trying things and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'm not total. I don't think but I think Donovan Mitchell's a good play, and that's probably it. And on the other side, I think Cat and DeLon Wright are probably good plays, and that's it.
Chat is talking about Mr. Predicto. If we hit 100 likes, I haven't dusted off Mr. Predicto in a while. If you need any yes/no questions, Kirkwood, and maybe the chats, at least a 50-50 as far as the answer. I can't guarantee accuracy, more or less 50-50 though for Mr. Predicto. Apparently we're not at 100 just yet, so Mr. Predicto stays on ice. But get your questions ready just in case. Yeah, Ketel Marte just got paid a bunch of money. Shout out to him. Signed till he's like 36 or 37 or something. Like, he's sneaky old. He's 31.
He deserves it. He's been
great.
He's been grinding for years and awesome.
But it's not my money. Good for him. Yeah. Okay. New York, Cleveland. You said your favorite player was Mitchell. Is that right?
Mitchell and Cat and DeLon Wright for value, and that's it. That's the pool.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Is Cat like really nursing something, or is that just like a injury management?
I don't know, but Mitchell Robinson's out, right?
Yeah, well, Precious will just take those minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, but Mitch Robinson controls the glass when Cat's in the game, and it crushes his rebounding rates. And so they should go up now with just Precious.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, PJ Washington ruled out in our projection. So again, projection team is on top of everything. Give it a refresh, and you will see that now reflected.
You know what? Have you offered Mr. Predicto to the projection team?
No, I didn't. I don't think they know it exists, to be honest.
Well, you might want to offer that. It probably could come in handy right about now.
Yeah, again, 50-50 accuracy, more or less, give or take, depending on what they get.
And they gotta make a guess here and there, and why not?
I'm sure the subs would appreciate that we're using Mr. Predicto behind the scenes.
That would be awesome.
Is Joker gonna play?
Imagine if like the rate, like you crushed it, and like all of a sudden our projections have a much higher R squared than everyone else, and
well, it's like when they have like a skunk predict the winner of the Super Bowl or something like that. It's won like 7 times in a row. Just if you go to the right bowl of food or whatever it is,
Mr. Predicto.
I was trying to buy a Magic 8-Ball on Amazon, and I guess it was unavailable or something like that. It was not in stock. And I'm like, what is this Mr. Predicto? It's kind of a bootleg version of it, but it actually talks. I eventually dig the Magic 8-Ball too, but just I double check sometimes, just like if they're in sync, then it's
oh boy, so it's a lock city. Actually, that would be the best, being a Twitter gambling tout that makes his picks with Mr. Predicto.
I mean, it might as well be for some of these people
beating all the competition. Seeing if Mr. Predicto can beat Alex Caruso, book it with Trent, Seablez, all these guys. It's wild. Sean Perry. You see all these names, all these guys.
I don't follow. Yeah, I'm not on Twitter as much as I used to be either. But I don't know who you're talking about. But I know the concept. Levitard used to have a bit. I don't know if he still does, but he used to bring on like D-list celebrities during football season. And he would like have them come on and predict like who's going to win the game against the spread. I think his point was basically like anybody could be just as good as anybody else, right? Like I think he was going up against Colin Cowherd, just like he was calling out Cowherd. He was using it as an example, like his Lightning 5, whatever he calls it. And like the D-list celebrities collectively would inevitably always beat the so-called experts, right? That's just
D-Rock in chat has just nailed it. If you did a walking bets segment with Mr. Predicto and went after some of these fools, it would do so much. It would do numbers. Like
I am aware of the walking bet. Somebody has shown me that, and that is an angle. That is definitely an angle to work. Good for you if you can get those clicks, I suppose. Miami Heat, my dreadful Miami Heat, taking on your Celtics. Oh, I didn't even realize. We got a big rivalry tonight. You excited about this game?
Maybe why we didn't start off on the right foot.
That must be it, because we're both heated about. Oh my God, my Heat versus your Celtics. We can't be friendly tonight. Alec Burks is available. Jovic still out with his hand. No Duncan Robinson. No Wiggins. He's out with a hamstring. Boston has been doing this thing where, like, again, they're coasting. And they're resting players every game. Different guys are shuffling through. Horford's officially doubtful. Porzingis officially questionable. Those are the important ones. Oh, Jaylen Brown also questionable. I think Brown's might actually be real. I think he's actually
He is. He needs rest on his knee.
Yeah. The rest of them are kind of nonsense, I think. Drew Holiday, they gave him a shoulder. I think that's nonsense too. But somebody's going to sit. At least one of these guys, if not two of these guys, amongst Brown Holiday. Well, Horford's doubtful, so we're assuming he's out. Best you can do. I don't know, a bunch of if-then stuff. They would be down to, they have, 11, right? Holiday, White, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, that's 5.
They have no G League guys.
So they would be down to 11, and that's assuming Horford's out. But if like 1 or 2 or more of those guys are out, they could be down to 9 or 10 with like Pritchard, Hauser, Shireman, Keita, and Craig.
Shireman's pretty. I don't mind Shireman at all. He's coming into his own here. The guy
you're not playing him. You're saying as like a Celtics fan, you're not playing him, right?
I mean, it could be a sneaky play. No, you're probably not playing him, but like
you did a lot of guys out for Shireman to get fired up.
You could win a GPP with him.
I mean,
anyways,
is there a showdown with Boston?
So I don't think Porzingis is going to play. I think they're going to let Cornette cook tonight. And so I think Luke Cornette is a good play. I also, if some of these guys are out, Hauser may move into the starting lineup. And, you know what the deal is with him. If he's going to be chucking, if he makes them, he's going to do well. If not, he's not going to do well.
And he'll turn the Pritchard.
But Peyton Pritchard is the guy. If they don't have, if they rule Holiday out, then I think he's the guy that could break the slate tonight.
Well, he would become blowout proof, I think.
Yeah, that's what I think.
As
a Celtics homer.
Yeah, not to say this game's going to blow out, but if it does, if it's a 30-point game, right, he's probably still on the court. If you just count the 5 guys that would play, Craig, Keita, Shireman, Cornette, and I guess one of Hauser, Pritchard, or probably Pritchard. I assume Pritchard.
Yeah, he's gonna run the offense. So I think he's the play. He's like the guy. Tatum's fine if this is a good game. If some of these guys are out, obviously, he'll move up in the stud standings. But I think the sneaky guy is to play Pritchard, unless it becomes not sneaky one. If they
Chad's talking about Pelle Larson. I don't know how sustainable it is what he's doing, but he's had some good games.
They're saying they're gonna take Ware out of the starting lineup. Have you heard that?
I did not hear that, but I guess Boston's the kind of team you do that against with all their threes. I don't know if that's going to happen, but maybe. They've certainly been jerking his minutes around. So, Larson's played 30-30 in the last 2. He's had a really good stock game against Philadelphia. They kind of boosted him up there, but he can shoot. I guess put it in your back pocket. But Dean Wade officially ruled out. Wade out. That's not a huge deal, but it's of note. Anything else that we should talk about as far as today? No. My timeline is getting flooded now with stuff for tomorrow. Already looking forward to tomorrow's slate, which I imagine might be as terrible. I'm not sure. Maybe there's actually some projected close games. Do we like Hero or Bam? I think Bam's a little more interesting if we lose Porzingis. Just if they lose Porzingis, Bam could go to work. And if Ware's out too, like you're suggesting, which is certainly possible, I think that would increase his upside for potential rebounds. It's just that he's not cheap. Hero's not cheap, but if this game stays close, it's because Hero and Bam are doing their thing for a long time. And Miami is trying to win. They're trying to jump up to the 8 spot. Currently, they're hosting the Bulls for the 9-10 game. Get excited for that. I'll be rooting against Miami passionately because their pick is lottery protected. So we want to not make the playoffs. If Miami knew what to do, let's not make the playoffs. You're not beating the Caps, so let's not. Why even try? Unfortunately, that's the system. You got to manipulate the rules, and that's what you got to do. You got to take the L. Anything else of note for Boston and Miami? It's a lot of wait and see. I will say, by the way, did we mention Tatum? Like Tatum can really do his thing.
Yeah, I said Tatum. If any of these guys are definitely out, then Tatum jumps up for top stud, and then you hope this game stays close and yada yada.
If we lose like Brown and Zinger, Tatum is an awesome play. Awesome.
Yep.
And I'm willing to play him early for sure. Okay. Next game. Should we ask Mr. Predicto? Well, no, we don't have enough likes to bring Mr. Predicto into the conversation just yet, unfortunately. Or not enough likes, I don't think, to get you to go to the Gathering of the Juggalos, which again, I think we needed 100 or so. I can see how disappointed you are on your face. And your favorite song again by ICP? What would be your favorite song?
I don't want to get we can. I don't want to bring down the show right now.
Top 3, maybe. If you could mention 3, I'll let you mention as many as you want.
I'm not talking. I'll talk it with people who know it.
Well, I mean, I want to be a fan. What's a good
I'll DM you a list that you should play.
Okay, I look forward to that DM. The Jazz are playing the Rockets. The Jazz are trying to lose. The Jazz are going to lose. They're down 16 as far as they're down 16. They might as well be down 16. They're 16-point dogs here. We did get a Jordan Clarkson out. Again, Collins, the nonsense that they're doing, they're just laughing in the face of the NBA.
Everybody is.
No, but they're the most egregious. They're the biggest offenders. And they're saying John Collins is out for another week. They're not making the playoffs and the season's over in 10 days. Just say the dude's not playing for the rest of the year. Just say it.
They all but it's not just that. It's great. They're the biggest offender right now. But what about this all happened because of Kawhi? It all started with Kawhi way back, Kawhi
was actually hurt though.
Was he? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah. Kawhi actually.
Team doctor said no, but his doctor said yes.
Lauri Markkanen's got this the most fragile back. And he's had this fake back injury the entire season. Did they give him? Yeah. Now they gave him a knee. They moved it to a knee. Springer, by the way, is questionable. Sheboy is out. He's hanging out in the G League. Michael Potter is in the G League as well. Walker Kessler available. Return to competition conditioning. Yeah. I did ever see Toronto, like you said. It's not just Utah. I don't know to single it out, but they gave Emmanuel Quickly and what's his name? The big center, Jakob Poeltl. They haven't played in a couple of days. They played yesterday, I think, but tomorrow they're already resting for tomorrow. they no shame. They don't even give them a fake injury. They call it rest. Resting from what? I don't know, but they're resting. Let them rest.
My God, the Cubs just don't stop.
I'm telling you, it's the ballpark and it's the Cubs, right? Yeah, I did not stack the Cubs, unfortunately. Mets, by the way, are scuffling. I'm sure producer Steve is somewhere tilting. Only 1 run in the first 4 innings against the horrific Marlins. All right, and the Padres are well on their way to being undefeated, 7-0. Dylan Cease, we have him on our main team, pitching a clean 6 so far, probably still going out there for the 7th, 7 Ks. Let's get back to basketball. We're projecting Tristan Thompson to play a minute or two and Jalen Tyson to play a minute or two with Dean Wade getting ruled out. Not sure how much that moves the needle with other players. Obviously, you're not playing those guys either, but our projections have been adjusting. Midday downgrade for Freddie Van Vliet, FVV. He's got an ankle. He's questionable. As far as everybody else on Houston of note, they're all healthy. So Freddie potentially does not start or play. They don't need him. Massive dogs. How do you feel about the Rockets and the Jazz?
Feel pretty. I think Utah doesn't really have to tank here, and so I think all these guys probably play a good amount. And so I think if you like some of these guys, then they're playable. So I think Walker Kessler is playable. I think Sexton or Collier is playable. That's assuming that this, but again, it's a really tough matchup against Houston. It's also massive blowout risk with a 16-point spread. But again, that's all the games that we're mostly talking about are in the same situation. But those are the guys I like. On the other end, on Houston, I think Şengün, could definitely cook. Against a guy like Walker Kessler, if he uses some of his outside game, he could really tear it up. And Jalen Green would be the guy, especially with Van Fleet going down a little bit, just gives him some more shots to take. You could get to Tari Eason, just because he's just good from a fantasy point per minute, and 5,600 is very reasonable. But that's about it.
This is a great matchup for Amen. If we lose Freddie, I think there's a chance he gets like a triple-double or something like that, because it's also the best matchup for blocks and steals, I believe, unless that has changed. Last I checked, Utah was the best opponent for both steals and blocks. Let's see. Utah gives up 9.9 steals per game. That's the most in all of basketball. Amen's spectacular defensively, probably the best, arguably the best defender, just general defender in basketball. I guess you can say Wemby, depending on, we can have a conversation about it, but he's certainly on the Family Feud board for me. And Utah gives them those blocks as well. So I do like Amen, and especially if we lose Freddie, I think he's a really, really good player that's not projecting amazing, but I like him a good bit in tournaments. And like Kessler, they sort of play their guys, Utah, when they're playing against a team they know they're going to lose to, they'll kind of play their guys.
Yeah, that's they shouldn't worry about it, this one.
I mean, assuming the game is blowing out as it should be, but it's got to be like blowing out enough where Utah's not afraid to play their guys, but not too much where it's like 70 points. But they will keep their guys out there. Like Keontae George will close a lot no matter what the score is. They possibly will be down to 9. They're at 10 right now. They will be down to 9 if Springer is out. He is questionable.
Former Celtic.
Jaden Springer? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. Dodgers lineup just came out for those that care. Again, baseball, Carty's going to cover that when he comes on in crunch time with Kevin Roth, around 6:15, 6:20 or so. Basketball, tough job for Neil today. He's got your job you had yesterday. He's stuck with flying solo with basketball, and he's also going to be sorting through all the injuries that are be coming through. We're just playing a bunch of F10 stuff. He's probably going to react to a lot of information that drops during crunch time. But yeah, I think Amen is an interesting, especially if we lose Freddie and midday downgrade, Kirkwood, midday downgrade on a game where you're supposed to for sure win. Are they going to play him?
Probably not. No,
probably not. So yeah, I got Amen circled in tournaments. How many more games do we have? We have 3 more games in the DraftKings slate. FanDuel again.
I might like Osser better than Amen tonight.
You know what? Man, I was on the expert survey today. I should have did you have to do a bold call. I should have did a bold call with the Thompson twins.
Osser scores more fantasy points than Amen.
Or just combined though. Yeah, I like Osser a lot too. We'll get to it. Especially on DK. His FanDuel price is a little tougher. It's like 1K more. The Hawks in Dallas. This is the only game, Kirkwood, the only game of the slate that is expected to be close. Right? It's high and tight. The Hawks are 4-point dogs here. On the road, back half of a back-to-back. However, Atlanta is jockeying for position with Orlando. They're currently in the 8th spot. They want to host that game, 7 versus 8, and they probably don't want to fall back to the 9. So Atlanta should be motivated to win. Dallas, I think Dallas wants to at least get in the play-on nonsense just so they can, not going to be completely embarrassed.
Of course they want to win.
I think they want to at least be in the 9-10 nonsense. But
dude, they're making AD play. You know what I mean?
It's
they have to. This is
they did shut down. Washington is out though. We did get that news. Yeah, as far as Atlanta, nothing really new here. Capella out. Trae Young always gets the probable tag with his Achilles. I assume he's going to play. He's been awesome of late, playing a ton of minutes. The assists have been ridiculous. Nothing really special about this matchup. It's fine. Davis has been limited as far as his minutes, playing through that strain. Is it around 30 or so? Is that what we're giving him? I'm assuming that's where our cap is. 31. Yeah, 31. Gafford, 21. Marshall, 33. As far as Atlanta, 36 for Trae. He's been playing a ton. And again, I guess these are 2 teams that kind of want to win. It's not do or die or whatever, but they're jockeying for playoff stuff, playing nonsense. Derek Lively also questionable, unless that's changed. Are we getting updates now? Maybe not. But keep an eye on that. Lively is currently questionable. Atlanta, Dallas, your thoughts?
Yeah. I think believe it or not, I like Dinwiddie tonight. He's been playing much better in this little latest stretch here. They definitely want to, in my opinion, definitely want to make the playoffs. He got 36 and 31 minutes in the last 2 games. And this in a matchup with Trey against the Hawks should be pretty good. I think this game plays kind of tight. And so Dinwiddie, as bad as he's been for most of this season, I don't know. I like him tonight. Other than that, I think you can get behind Clay to if him to go off
Clay.
potentially.
Thompson?
Yeah.
Okay.
If he makes some shots, he could do all right in this game.
That's there's no other path. That's his only path.
Yeah.
He's got to make fun of threes.
He was 3 for 12 in his last game. Taking 12 is a good.
He couldn't see that there was all this dust in his eyes. He could not see. It was not a clear shot of the basket.
But like PJ Washington being out helps.
Yeah.
In theory, helps him for more shots. This could be a game where he lights it up. So I don't know. I think he's fine. I can't really touch Davis with I would just rather play other studs that don't have a ceiling on their minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Trey for sure. Why not? Right?
Yeah. I think he's one of the better studs in the slate and one of the safer ones, I guess, if you want to say. I think he's one of the safer studs on the slate. The minutes seem really, really secure. Pretty good shot at that double-double via the assists. Davis, I don't know if they're going to let us know if he gets a minutes increase. I don't know if that's basically it. 30 is essentially his cap. But the price has really not gone down enough. You can in tournaments you can do it, right? You certainly can get there in 31 minutes against Atlanta, but I would like to have access to a couple more minutes. But when he's out there, he should be doing things for sure. I just ran a bunch of lineups. Jeez, it's all Spurs. The first 3 players are Spurs. First 3 of my first 5 or 6 are Spurs, which that's uncomfortable. We'll talk about that soon enough. Sabonis is getting hit pretty hard. And Jalen Green is hitting stuff pretty hard. Of course, Joker. Except we don't know if he's playing or not. Şengün looks good as well. Trae Young coming in at 29% for what it's worth in the lineups that I made. I had some variance and juiced it up a little bit, but nothing too crazy. All right. Would you rather? Here's the question about Dallas: is it better to just go away quietly and not make the playoffs and have people not thinking about you, or say they get into playing nonsense, right, and they actually beat Sacramento, and then they move on and they have the 8 spot, and then Oklahoma sweeps them in 4 and an average of 23 points victory, which is better, which is better.
They've got no choice but to try to make the playoffs here, and whatever there is, to at least just get in my opinion.
I just think people will be dunking on them more if they make the playoffs and OKC destroys them.
People are going to be dunking on them anyway, but I think they can at least save a little. They can't. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough situation, but if you're a billionaire owner and you make this move, right? You're not backing down, right? You want your AD's this guy right now. Go out there and get us in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and get us into a series.
Get a couple games at least. Get 2 games. Get games 3 and game 4 as far as some ticket revenue.
Miles Bridges is in. Is that what I just said?
Smith out, Bridges in. Taj Gibson's out too. So no Taj. No Nick Smith, which is, I don't want to say important, but relevant, I guess, to some degree. If that game stays close, it's because Bridges has himself a game. Or, the other team's just not scoring and it's a low-scoring game. I don't think I'm playing him, but he's going to have all the usage in the world. He's super expensive, though. They don't want to win. Okay. Atlanta, Dallas. Did you talk about anybody else? Okongwu?
Trey and Okongwu would be the only 2.
Yeah. I kind of like Daniels a little bit, too.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's talk about the Spurs and Denver, best we can at least. Ray's got a question for you. Domantas Sabonis or Trae Young? That was a different position. I assume that's for utility. You have a preference amongst those two?
Yeah, I just have a feeling Sabonis triple-double tonight.
Certainly
play.
Can.
I think I'd go Sabonis.
Yeah, they're basically
but it's also there's a lot of like opportunity cost and.
Well, it's also kind of a question. The hidden part of that question is, how do you feel about the other point guards? How do you feel about the other centers? What do you think? Who would you be playing if you're not playing Sabonis? Who would you be playing if you're not playing Trae Young? Right. So
yeah,
it's kind of a two-pronged question, and that's yet to be determined for some things because there's a lot of stuff up in the air. Namely the San Antonio game in Denver, the biggest nonsense game. Well, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but it's a nonsense game. Wemby, of course, is out. We know Fox is out, but they're also without Sohan. No Jeremy Sohan. Bassey is not going to play. That's not that significant. Keldon Johnson's questionable. And then Devin Vassell, who would get a lot of usage if he was playing, he's not playing. What's weird is I bet like Chris Paul projects okay, and like I just don't want to play him.
Yeah, throw him out immediately.
Yeah, I can't see him getting pushed.
Although that would be if it's like a Russell Westbrook like scenario, and Chris Paul going back in time against each other.
Maybe you can work that angle, and that's why Russ coming off a rough 30 seconds or so last night.
The problem is Russ is probably worn down anyway, and he's going to come off this. He's going to step in. He's going to start shooting from the outside and just brick after brick.
Doesn't cost you anything. There's no negative for that. You don't lose points for missed shots. Back in the day, you did on Draft Street. If you're old enough, if you play Draft Street, you would lose a half a point for every missed shot. And
what did we used to lose? We used to lose something in baseball.
Outs on FanDuel. FanDuel used to get 0.25. You lose 0.25.
Mind blowing. They had that at one point.
So you would be in the lead sometimes. You'd be in the lead, and you would go in the extra innings, and you'd fall back because you guys are like over 9.
I've been there.
Torturous. Oh man.
And that really what I'll go to my grave with this. The catcher's interference should be worth the same points as a walk.
100%.
And I have no clue why nobody is up in arms and demanding.
I'm with you on that. I will sign that petition.
I have been petitioning this for years. I've lost tournaments by where literally you're stealing an at bat away from the guy.
Well, how about this? Why are walks only 2 points?
Yeah, 3 should at least be 3.
A walk and a single is the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you bang somebody at home from third or something like that, but I don't understand why it's a single is just as good as a walk. There's nobody on base.
Yeah, let's get a petition going.
Yeah, I think we should set up.
I'll tell my vice president, Don Yeezy, Juggalo Nation, the VP. Are
you president?
Yes, I'm going to give him. I'm stepping down soon, but yeah. But I'm going to give this him to make happen. He's going to get the team going. D-Rock, a bunch of people are going to be involved. Let's start this up.
All right. What is my official title? Did I get one?
You're just a signature.
I'm just an underling. I'm a pawn. I'm a peon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll work my way up the ladder. I will prove you my worth. Hit by pitch. Why is hit by pitch only worth 2? It's another one. Is that a part of the petition? Is that the First Amendment we're gonna have?
Well, okay. So a hit by pitch is worth 2, but a catcher's interference isn't worth 2.
Worth nothing.
It just makes no sense.
It is ridiculous.
They're both doing the same thing. You're killing the at bat for the hitter.
So we're stalling because I don't know how to handle this Denver-San Antonio game. Again, everybody's questionable for Denver. Anybody, name a player on Denver, they're questionable to play tonight. The entire starting lineup, literally the entire starting lineup, Jamal Murray, Brown, Porter, Watson, Joker. What are the odds? They're all hurt. They played a bunch of minutes last night. They're monster favorites. Although, like you said, the lines bounced around. So I think Vegas, I was thinking of the same idea when I was looking at the game last night when it was in double overtime. The Denver's they're not gonna play their guys tomorrow. And then I saw the line was 8 after everything adjusted. I'm like, well, Vegas is on this. Something weird is certainly happening. San Antonio traveling back half of a back-to-back in the toughest spot. Historically, Denver is the worst place to play a back-to-back. If not Denver, it's Utah with the elevation. the number is very weird. So again, the anticipation here is that some players are resting. Who? I don't know. We think that the path might be clear for an instant redemption game for Westbrook. That would mean probably Murray sitting. We're already projecting Gordon out, by the way. He's questionable. So Murray, Brown, Porter, Watson, Joker, all questionable. I don't know how to give advice here. Just like wait and see.
Yeah, just circle Westbrook and be like, make it a point that there's probably going to be a good opportunity here, and just have some spots and figure it out. But
Derek and chat says, why isn't there a bonus for the cycle? Derek,
I know, I saw that he's trying to.
He's poking the bear. That's good. That's good.
I'll have a talk with him about that.
That's funny. Yeah, because the cycle's silly. So San Antonio,
there should be a cycle bonus though. Like there definitely should be.
Why?
Because there's like it's a whether you think it's great. Obviously, yes, I would take an extra home run over the last single, but the rarity, like that triple was actually a triple yesterday or whatever, or from
Kelly, or the catcher.
Yeah,
for the Cubs.
Yes, like that was a real, like in that, just the rarity of having that all come into place.
But there's rare things that happen all the time in baseball.
It's cool. I think it's terrible when, like, yes, he comes up for his and he just needs a single, and then he knocks
they stop.
a single. Yeah, they knock a single or whatever, and then
I would just say it's marketing. Like Big Cycle has done an incredible job, like getting people excited about, like making it seem like it's a great accomplishment. When
it's just rare, it's a rare feat, and that should be celebrated.
Walking 4 times in a game is a rare feat. What do they call that? Why is that not celebrated?
Well, or you could be Rafael Devers and
striking the gold sombrero.
Yeah, more. It's like a platinum sombrero at this point.
It's a rough start.
So that's another thing. I think my personal opinion is he's pouting, and just not.
I think he's still hurt. He was hurt last year with the shoulders, and he didn't play spring trainings. I think he's still it's a carryover.
I think it's that, and he's pouting.
The little advanced data they have as far as his swings and all that, it looks like he's off. He's behind. Maybe he's not in shape just yet, or it's small sample stuff. But I'm concerned. There's a concern level. I've not played him, and I'm not playing him for the foreseeable future. And that's a segue until him hitting a homer in about a half hour or so playing Baltimore. Last word as far as outside of just like wait and see. I guess you can talk about the Spurs. Keldon is questionable, which I think matters because they're at 10 right now. And if they lose Keldon, they're down to 9. I played unsuccessfully Sandro Mamukelashvili, and he played straight 5 last night. Barely played, and when he played, he stunk. He was terrible. He was an absolute stone disaster. Biyombo outplayed him, played a bunch more minutes. He's still kind of projecting kind of well. No Sohan. He'll play blowout if his game gets, goofy. If Denver wins by 30, he's out there. So he's back in the pool. But, again, it's a tentative endorsement. The floor is rough. Final thoughts as far as Denver, San Antonio.
Champagne is going to be massive chalk, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, and we're expecting a fair bit of minutes. Barnes is hitting a lot of stuff. Castle's hitting a lot of stuff. And again,
I like Castle. I like Castle.
Can you rank your interest in the Spurs? How many Spurs is too many Spurs? Because I'm seeing some lineups with 4, and I think that'll change as news comes in. I don't think I'm definitely not playing 4. I might play 3, and you can have yourself a fun game stack if Denver goes the right way too. Like you can play 7 guys from this game possibly, or at least 6, right? If things crack a certain way. 2 stars, and then like 6 guys in this game. Like that's something you can do.
Yep.
But you just got to be aware.
Wow. So would you play? What do you think of a 30% plus Harrison Barnes?
Yeah, I don't like that in theory. He's really cheap. I like him more if Keldon doesn't play.
If Keldon plays, you just go Keldon, right?
I prefer Keldon to Keldon plays. He's a little bit more, but it's not that much more.
And you throw Chris Paul out?
I think so. Like I don't. He's going to project well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Champagne, And our projection for Mamu is really good. We like Mamu a good bit. I didn't realize I did a bad job. I didn't realize that crunch time showing up 5 minutes earlier because they're doing basketball and baseball. So we want to discuss really briefly. Let's talk about this OKC game. OKC taking on Detroit.
So well, I'm just going to summarize it. So Champagne's major chalk. You probably got to play him. He's going to play 30 minutes plus probably, and he's 3,400, and he can shoot. But coming in under would be definitely fine. I think Castle has the upside. I think Keldon, if plays, has the upside. And then you can play Mamu, whatever.
Yeah, I'm a little bit cautious about his minutes, but I think he's interesting. And again, if this game gets
ugly,
then
Denver, it's like whoever you'll know once you get like the news on,
whoever's still standing.
Trust the projections team with RG; they'll update it immediately. And but if Joker plays, you'll probably want Joker, but maybe they limit his minutes. You could say, but I have a feeling it's going to be Murray out.
I do. I think
and
so.
Some others.
And I think Murray. Well, Gordon.
And I think you load up Russ.
I think we probably lose Porter. We probably lose Murray. At least two of those three. I think there's a chance Joker plays and just smashes again.
I think because that's the narrative is that he like demands to play in these things, and then Malone backs down.
You want to tell Joker no?
I mean, it really different. Remember when we used to debate Joker or people used to debate Joker and Embiid?
Yeah, stop it. We didn't do that. I didn't do that. Yeah, I remember Twitter did. I remember people were out of their minds, thinking Embiid and Joker are anywhere near the same level. Okay, last game, Detroit, OKC. Speaking of teams and players not on other people's level, nobody's as good as OKC. Best team in basketball, historically great. As far as who's in, who's out for this one, Wiggins is out. Jalen Williams is questionable. Caruso's questionable too. The big one here for Detroit, of course, Cade Cunningham not officially out, but he's doubtful, so we're assuming he's not playing. Harris, we've seen late scratches with Tobias Harris, but far as we know, he's probably going to play with his Achilles tonight. We have not seen Jaden Ivey in a while, so I don't know why they never ruled him out for the season, but I think he is. And, of course, Detroit, the old school bad boys, they want to fight everybody, every game. They got into a little kerfuffle with Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo from Minnesota. Marcus Sasser's out, and Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart, he wants to fight anybody.
Yeah, he's a problem, man. But
he tried to kill LeBron a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's when you knew this guy wasn't messing around. Like, you know what I mean?
But you want that guy. You want that guy on your team, right? And SGA, I was saying on top of the show, like, nobody's playing him. And you're going to play some Detroit. You certainly can play some Detroit. And if this game stays close, it's because, like, Shooter's probably doing some things. Oscar Thompson looks pretty well. I don't think Jalen Duren is nuts for tournaments. And then Paul Reed was projecting well. Is like, this game might blow out. So maybe Paul Reed does some things in a blowout and get some regular run. Yeah. And don't sleep on the Lindy Waters revenge game. Actually, I think you can sleep on that. You don't need to worry about that. But that is potentially happening here. Give me quickly your thoughts on Detroit OKC as we're going to bring in crunch time here momentarily.
Yeah. I think Shea is going to go off. How high will depend on how competitive this game stays, and probably won't be extremely competitive. But I think he's going to make he's looking at this MVP stuff, and I think you see Joker last night, and I think he wants to make a statement. I think that's just inside of you. So Schroeder for Detroit, sure. Gonna do a bunch of minutes. I think I like Oscar Thompson. He's the guy that I think could do work and could potentially be running the offense in the second unit too. Yeah, you're right. Duren could be okay. Paul Reed, basketball Paul could be okay. Chet Holmgren is kind of interesting, but I think it's just Shea and then some of the Pistons guys.
Stay tuned to news. Backload any like this guy or that guy, a later guy, every single time. If you're debating between a 7 o'clock player and a 9 o'clock player, and it's a coin toss to you, just the later guy, and then maybe you'll have some pivot stuff later on. But that's what we signed up for. That's the world right now as far as basketball. Gimme who is breaking the slate.
I'm a homer. right? Boston homer. No, you're going to see Peyton Pritchard break the slate tonight.
How many threes?
A lot.
You couldn't like
a lot. I like them all.
Was that your Dumb and Dumber impression? Is that
yeah, that was. I half-assed it, so it was it sounded awkward and bad. Yeah.
I like it a lot. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Seamless transition. Let's bring on the flannel verse. Let's bring on Roth. Let's bring on Derek Carty. It's crunch time right now. All right, Derek, you were in the bullpen. You're probably listening in to some degree, but I'm just curious, before we get out of here, your thoughts as far as Denver. Of course, Joker went off last night, dropped 60, 10, and 10. Just an absolutely absurd triple-double, played 50-plus minutes. Christian Brown deal, 50 minutes as well. They're taking on the Spurs team. It's like doing their best to take some L's. Of their starters, who do you think is going to be left standing come 9 o'clock?
All I heard was Joker, and I start thinking about, okay, Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, Cesar Romero. It's obviously Heath Ledger, but I mean, like, there have been some quality Jokers.
That's what we got out of that. Is there?
That's what I got out of that.
We got to say rest in peace, Val Kilmer. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Oh my God, yeah, that's a bummer. I was going through his movies, and like, it's got a pretty extensive category. I was actually.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I don't mean to interrupt. I have a problem. I do that too.
I was going to do power rankings today as far as his movies as an homage, but Stevie already had something, so we'll do it later on in the week or next week or something like that. But some, the playing Jim Morrison, he was incredible. In Tombstone, he played Doc Holliday. He was spectacular.
Van Fleet.
Yeah, that's what we suspected. But you know Jokic, right, Carty? I know you're not a basketball guy per se. You're aware of the Joker.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I figured so. If nothing else, you got to see the GIFs on the Twitter. All right. We're going to step aside and get out of here. You got some baseball. You got some basketball. Do appreciate y'all hanging with us. Myself, Kirkwood, we're getting out of here. Roth, take it away.
I'm your Huckleberry. Let's do it. Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. It is crunch time. You know the drill. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz. Got Neil in the house. Neil, we got to talk some baseball. And as you could tell, Carty knows nothing about hoops. So you will be responsible for some of that after baseball lock. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I say Suzuki just struck out. I listed him as my favorite batter of the day. If he had gotten a home run there, he could have been the highest scorer of the day. I'd be doing a lot better if Ivan Herrera did not. I don't even know who that is, but if he did not exist, I'd be having a lot better day because I'm way under the field.
Damn you, Ivan. We got Derek Carty in the house as well. Best hair in the biz. Somebody said that. Negative Creep said that. We all agree. What's up, Carty? How are you?
Doing well. I was a little surprised to hear there's going to be some basketball talk on here. We'll not be able to contribute much to that, but yeah, we have baseball too, so I like that.
We do. You should all know that in the private chat, Carty typed, "Am I supposed to talk about NBA? Because that might be a small problem." and no, Carty, you're off the hook for that. Thankfully, you will not be talking basketball. In fact, when we're done with baseball, if you want, you can clear on out, and it will just be Neil and I for the rest. I did want briefly to bring up our wonderful producer, Steve. Steve, are you here right now? Yeah, I'm going to assume. Yeah.
He says no.
Yeah, no, he's around. Here's what he tweeted here.
Oh, no, he just said in the chat, no, he's not here.
Mets are effing garbage. Holmes sucks. Vientos sucks. Winker sucks. Bunch of bums. Lindor sucks the most. He's really going through it right now. Sorry about that, bud, but you'll make it. It's a long season. Guys, we don't have a lot of time to dive into this slate as it turns out, so let's just get to it. There are some chances of a brief rain delay in New York and Philly. I don't think either are very likely. I don't think I would do anything about either, but a brief rain delay is possible as this little line moves through there. That's all. Both games are going to play. Let's dive into the content. Carty, what are we doing at pitchers?
Yeah, so we have a small slate. The top pitcher on the slate by far is Zach Wheeler. He's the guy you're playing in cash on both sites. He'll be popular, but he's a lot better than everyone else. So I don't think you have to do a fade of him in tournaments by any means. After that, there's kind of a step down to Garrett Crochet and Blake Snell. They'll be the next most popular guys. I like Crochet a little bit more. He's a little bit cheaper. I think he's a better pitcher. I think the matchup's a little bit better. And then after that, it's kind of like the other guys are fine. But I think most of the ownership is going to be concentrated on those three. So of the rest, the guy that I like to take a shot on is Zach Eflin, 7K on DraftKings, projects the next best, kind of the top of that next tier. And yeah, his ownership is going to be very reasonable because most people are just going to play one of those big three guys.
Okay, good stuff. Neil, your thoughts here as you're looking at pitchers. And do we have both a DK late slate and a FanDuel main slate? Is that what's happening here?
Yes, but it is the same 4 games on both slates. Yeah,
correct. All right. So Neil, talk to me about your favorite pitchers both on DK and FanDuel. They're different.
Yeah, I mean it's Zach Wheeler, pretty clearly the top option here. I have to say I did not prepare to talk baseball here. I thought that Carty was going to talk baseball.
Oh, okay.
I did the tags for the main slate, so I kind of have an idea. But Zach Wheeler stood out to me as clearly the best pitcher when I looked at it earlier in the day. I don't think anything has changed. So yeah, I'm all aboard that train.
Okay, well then let's just talk stacks. I will let Carty go first, and if you want to add in, you can do that, and then I'll just talk baseball with Carty for a little bit, if that works for you, Neil. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Carty, stack wise, what are we doing? I don't think we're stacking against Wheeler. Other than that, maybe anything.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those slates where maybe anything. I think the Dodgers are going to be the most popular. They're the best. They're facing Bryce Elder, who is either the worst pitcher or the second worst pitcher on this slate, depending how you feel about Kyle Freeland. And they're the Dodgers, so they're the best team. They'll be the most popular. And then it kind of seems like most other teams are projected for very similar ownership. Diamondbacks, Yankees, Phillies, Red Sox, Orioles all project super similar. The team that I really have the most interest in as a stack is the Atlanta Braves. They've been bad to start this year, but they're the Atlanta Braves. They're still really, really good. They're facing one of the better pitchers on the slate, but it's Blake Snell, and he can blow up at any time, and he's going to be really popular. And so you get lots of leverage on them, and they project as the highest point per dollar team on the slate. And once you get past the Dodgers, it's not like there's a big discrepancy between the rest of them anyway. So Braves are the stack that I would like the most tonight.
Interesting. Neil, if you are playing MLB or if you did some research, any other stacks you want to throw in there that maybe you are interested in?
I mean, the Phillies just look like on FanDuel in particular. I didn't look at the DraftKings slate, but the FanDuel slate, the Phillies looked like they were just phenomenal values. You had Trey Turner, Alec Boehm, just some of the top of that order looked really strong today.
Okay, good stuff. Carty, let's go around the horn position by position. We still have 10 minutes or so here until lock, which isn't a ton of time, but will be plenty. What are we doing at the catcher spot, Carty?
If you're playing Dodgers, you're playing Will Smith probably in your stack. He's the top guy on the slate. Definitely a guy you can play in cash. Will be the most popular. Maybe as a one-off isn't the best because Dodgers in general are just going to be popular. Gabriel Moreno is the guy that's the best value. He's only 3K. He's in Yankee Stadium. He's got platoon advantage against Rodon. I think he's good. And then you also have, if you want to go even cheaper, you do have Gary Sanchez for 2.1. He's against Crochet. It's not awesome, but he's cheap enough where on this slate you can definitely just play him. Yeah, that's catcher. Catcher is, there's not a lot else I really like.
Can I play Chadwick Tramp just because his name is Chadwick Tramp?
Chadwick Trump.
Oh, it's Trump. Oh, that's Trump is slightly less fun. Never mind. I don't want to play him anymore. Okay, how about first base? What are we doing there?
All right, first base. Ohtani is a good baseball player. You may or may not have heard of him before. He's very good, and so on DraftKings, I think you find a way up to Ohtani. I think he makes more sense at first than in the outfield, but you can play him in the outfield. Over on FanDuel, I think you can even play a catcher on FanDuel, honestly. Will Smith and Gabriel Moreno are both definitely in the mix here because, I mean, first base doesn't have a lot to love tonight. All the best guys, you have Harper, aside from Ohtani. You have Harper, you have Matt Olson. They're kind of the only two big names. They're both lefty-lefty matchups. They're fine. Olson projects for quite a bit less ownership than Harper does, and I mentioned liking an Atlanta stack, so he's probably the guy that I like the most to be different tonight.
Yeah. Okay. How about second base?
Again, I like the Braves tonight. I think Ozzie Albies leading off for 4.3K on DraftKings is a really good value. He's 3-3 on FanDuel, and he's a good value there too. Ketel Marte, more of an option on FanDuel than on DraftKings, given just the way the pricing looks, but he's the top option on the slate. DK probably too expensive. FanDuel, reasonable to get. After that, like the problem is like everyone else kind of at a lot of these positions, everyone else kind of projects the same and they project for the same ownership. So it's just like play whoever you want. I don't have a hot take on any of these guys really. If you want to punt the position, you punt it with Eli White.
Yeah. Michael in the chat says, but the Braves are bad.
Oh yeah, right. So about that, no, they're not.
Okay, there you go. There's your answer. All right, how about third base?
Top player at the position is Brave. It's Austin Riley. I like Austin Riley a lot. I think he's very affordable. I think he's your cash guy. I think he's a great one-off. I think he's great in your stacks. After him, I like Eugenio Suarez with a chance for a home run tonight. I think platoon advantage against Rodon in that park. He looks really solid. Max Muncy for the Dodgers is going to be, I think, a popular part of the stack, but not one of the most popular parts. So if you are doing a Dodger stack, I kind of like Muncy to switch it up a little bit. I like Muncy a little bit as a one-off. And if you want to do the torpedo bat narrative, you do have Jazz Chisholm here, but he is going to be popular, and I probably just prefer Riley.
And he's going to be popular strictly because of torpedo bat or for other reasons?
He's also on the Yankees. Okay. Second and third base are not the best positions, but yeah, there is a giant torpedo bat narrative / bias going on right now.
Without a doubt. And it's actually working, I think, is the thing about that one. Okay, let's go to shortstop, Carty. Are you going to give me a Brave? You going to give me a Brave?
No, not a shortstop. Sorry. Right. I actually don't even know if we have an eligible one. Oh, we do. We have Nick Allen for 2K on FanDuel. So yeah, you can play Nick Allen for 2K on FanDuel.
Sure.
But no, ideal, and I guess 2K on DraftKings too. So yeah, you can play him, but I do think ideally you're trying to get up to one of the Dodgers, Mookie Betts, Tommy Edman, Trey Turner for the Phillies, I think is really good tonight. If you're not paying for one of the top guys, I do think you probably just go down to Nick Allen. The rest of the names here are really not that appealing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we get to go to the good stuff in the outfield. I assume there are quite a few appealing names there.
Yep. Love the Dodgers. Ohtani, outfield only on FanDuel. On DraftKings, if you're not playing him at first, you can play him in the outfield. Andy Pages is really cheap, especially on DraftKings for the Dodgers. So he's a good way to save money. Teoscar Hernandez, I always love the bat loves. He's right in kind of the middle of those two, and he's awesome. Outside of Dodgers, I think Atlanta. Brian De La Cruz is 2.2K on DraftKings. Stuart Fairchild is 2K. I just think Atlanta is going to be under-owned tonight. Eli White on FanDuel is 2K. I think some of the Arizona guys are interesting, especially Corbin Carroll on FanDuel. Jake McCarthy's cheap on DraftKings, so I like him quite a bit. That's about it.
Okay. We need some home run picks, Carty. It can be just dudes you think you're going to bomb, or you can look at the bat and tell us, what the better odds are. And yes, Neil, you have one too many buttons done to be on a show with Derek Carty. You got to show some chest salad.
There you go. Always willing to show off the chest.
Yeah, there you go. Carty, what are some of your favorite home run calls? Maybe for sports bettors, maybe for DFS players, whatever you want to do.
Top guy on the slate for a home run is Aaron Judge, and he's basically tied with Ohtani. More off the board-ish home run.
Don't say Eugenio Suarez, because all that dude does is hit home runs.
I know, right? Eugenio Suarez, give me him. I like him.
Do you have a cheapie or an actual sneaky?
I feel like Suarez is kind of that, right? If not, then give me. I don't even know. Give me a Brave. Give me a Brave that no one's going to play. Give me Matt Olson or Austin Riley or someone like that.
Okay, very good. It is apparently Shohei bobblehead night.
Oh, so if
that-
you're not
that
playing,
is-
you know you're making a mistake.
That is actually a viable narrative. If you get a bobblehead, you will hit a home run. It's like it's like when people become a new dad and then their next game back, they have like a 40-point triple-double and or hit 2 home runs. It's what happens. If it's your
It's what
bobblehead.
happens every time. You can look at the statistics. Players always hit home runs on bobblehead nights, 100% of the time.
Thank you. See, he's a stats guy. He knows.
Easy game.
Yeah. All right. We're about 2 minutes until baseball lock. If we've got a few questions, we will take them. If not, we will kick Carty off the show, and Neil and I will talk hoops for a few minutes. But we got a few. Carty, De La Cruz and Crochet, or Ozuna and Freeland.
I'll take De La Cruz and Crochet.
Oh, I actually thought you were going to go the other way. Is Ozuna on the Braves still, or no? Or
Yeah, but so is De La Cruz, and I really
Uh-huh.
like Crochet, and Kyle Freeland is really not very good.
very good. That's fair. What do we got? Flying Armbar just says Grichuk. Wasn't a question. It was just a statement. Do you have any thoughts along that statement?
Grichuk is, he's a guy who's always a power threat. He's facing a lefty tonight in Yankee Stadium, so sure. But there's some chance that he gets like 2 at bats and gets pulled. Like he is a very high pinch hit risk guy. So just keep that in mind.
That was a lot of information for a comment that wasn't even a question. You did really good with that. I didn't know how you were going to handle a 1-word question, but good work. Let's see. Steve says, thank you for the baseball, Derek.
Yeah, very welcome.
That's what we do here. DK Cash question from Breezy. Sanchez Edman or Will Smith De La Cruz?
I think either's fine. I probably prefer Will Smith De La Cruz.
Okay. Carty, we're hearing Porzingis, Holiday, and Gafford out. What are your immediate pivots there?
LeBron's
Yeah.
good. You could definitely play him instead if you want.
That's it. Yeah, good job. You nailed that. All right, guess what? We did the things that we came here to do, Carty. We answered all the baseball questions, and we are moments until lock. So you, good sir, are allowed to bounce on out of here.
All right. Well, good to see y'all. See you tomorrow.
Good to
That's
see
pretty
you.
nice for you. That was like a 15-minute show for you. That's not
Easy.
too shabby, right?
Not too bad. I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one, Carty. We'll catch you, maybe tomorrow, certainly at a later date. See ya.
All right. Later.
Okay. Now we pivot into the hoops. And you know what? I do take you more seriously with one button undone.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I needed to. People sometimes comment that I unbutton it a lot. So apparently
this
this
is
is
the
more than
look.
usual today.
Before, I was pretty sure I could take you in a fight, and now I don't know. Now that I see,
I definitely outweigh you, but I've seen the guns, and I've seen how feisty you are on Twitter. So I'm like, I don't want any of that smoke.
I'm a little spicy, but now that I see that chest salad, I don't think I can stand. All right, let's talk about this hoop slate. Some people are excited about it, others are not. It just depends how you feel this time of year. Can you give me a general breakdown? Is there something that we are still waiting to happen? Obviously, we just got news of a bunch of players out.
Yeah, I mean, we first of all, it's a slate where like every game except for one has a double-digit spread. I'm trying to see if that looks like it's still the case. Every game has a double-digit spread except for one game, that being the Dallas and Atlanta game has actually pretty close spread. That's like the top game to target. But we are still waiting on a lot of news, particularly from Denver, who I don't know if you paid attention, but my Wolves beat them in double overtime right at the buzzer last night. And it was like Joker played the entire second half and like the final 6 minutes of the first half. Christian Brown played the whole game. It was just nuts how much they played. So
and Westbrook smoked a layup that would have been the game winner.
It was so good. I loved it so much. Yeah,
Wide open. It was
missed a layup and then fouled on 0.1 seconds left 3-pointer. Just like, man, what? Just boneheaded stuff. I actually like Westbrook.
Me
overall,
too.
But still, it's funny for me as a Wolves fan. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of unclear what we're going to get out of Denver. I think kind of the indications are that Joker is going to play. I think particularly because they lost last night. Like they kind of need wins right now. So my lean is that Joker is going to play. If he doesn't play, I'm going to love DeAndre Jordan, assuming he starts. But then we have Christian Brown is questionable. Aaron Gordon is questionable. Jamal Murray questionable. Michael Porter Jr. questionable. Peyton Watson questionable. It's just a mess there in Denver. I suspect we're going to have at least a couple of those players out tonight, and we're going to get some good value there. But we don't really know at this point. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that we're waiting on.
Okay. Joker playing would be pretty awesome, just to put the whole NBA players are so soft with these rest days on these back. If he goes out and plays like, I don't know, almost 50 minutes and then plays the next night on a back-to-back, that would be pretty badass. So I hope he does. And I hope he does awesome. Okay, let's dive into it. I guess we'll start on FanDuel. We'll go position by position. We'll do the same thing for DraftKings. We'll give the people a chance to ask questions, and then we'll dip out of here. What are we doing, FanDuel point guard, Neil?
First of all, I want to comment. Adian says Celtics are the only team in the league that can rule out 3 key pieces, and it does nothing for them DFS wise. I kind of wonder if like a Luke Cornett or somebody is going to open up, but we probably need to know the starting lineup before we can really adjust. So that is something that we'll have to adjust later on in the show. I have not done anything so far to account for all of the Celtics players being out. But in my latest run, I have a ton of Stephon Castle at 7,100. Looks like a really strong play. Devin Vassell out. We have a few other players out. Keldon Johnson still questionable. They had somebody else out also, but so just more minutes to be had there for Stephon Castle. Jose Alvarado also looks like a really strong play on FanDuel at 5,600. Should see big minutes. Donovan Mitchell, really good spot here against New York. Should play big minutes for the Cavs as long as it stays close. This game just a little bit over a 10-point spread, so it could stay close. Trae Young, again, game of the night there. Atlanta and Dallas looks good. DeLone Wright, we still have the 3 point guards ahead of him are all out once again tonight. So DeLone Wright at 5,100 looks like a strong play. And then finally, Chris Paul at 5,100 looks like a fairly strong play as well.
Okay. How about shooting guard?
Yep. Shooting guard, I have, again, Stephon Castle. Julian Champagnie at 4,200 looks like an awesome play with so many players out. Should see pretty strong minutes tonight. Earlier in the day, I wrote him up in the expert survey as the player that I'm most afraid of being underweight to the field on. That was before they ruled out more players. And now it just kind of looks inevitable. He's going to get projecting for a ton of ownership tonight, well over 50% ownership, but still a very strong play, I think. I don't know that I probably won't lock him in, but I'm going to have a lot of Julian Champagnie. Donovan Mitchell, Klay Thompson, again, that game looks like a really good one. 5,200 looks good. Zach LaVine against Washington projects pretty well. Dylan Brooks, AJ Johnson, Jalen Green. We got Fred VanVleet out, so Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green both look a little bit better. Great matchup with Utah. Maybe the game is more likely to stay close to no Fred VanVleet, but it has a pretty big spread. But that's it for me right now.
Okay, then we go to small forward.
Yep, small forward. Wait, hang on one second. All right, let me reread real quick because I just realized that I was reading the wrong crunch. It was not my latest. So let me just really quickly go back over point guard. I'm just going to go down my list. So here's top of my list down to everybody that I have double digits. It's Stephon Castle, Trae Young, Spencer Dinwiddie now, Donovan Mitchell, DeLone Wright, Russell Westbrook, who again he currently doesn't project all that well, but after some players get ruled out, I think he will. Jose Alvarado. That's it for me as far as double digits right now at point guard. Shooting guard, Julian Champagnie, Stephon Castle, Spencer Dinwiddie, Donovan Mitchell, Zach LaVine, Klay Thompson, AJ Johnson, Dylan Brooks. That's it for me as far as double digits at shooting guard. And then finally, you just asked me, we're at small forward now, right?
Correct.
Caught up. Okay, good.
Yep,
yeah. So Julian Champagnie, I currently have 100%. Again, I'm not playing on FanDuel. I just ran a set of lineups to see what it would look like. And Julian Champagnie using kind of my usual settings, and I'm getting to 100% Julian Champagnie without adjusting anything. 89% Tari Eason. Again, no Fred VanVleet. I think Tari Eason pretty likely to get the start here. It's we'll have to see what the starting lineup looks like, but should see pretty significant minutes either way, and he's a really strong point per minute producer. Najee Marshall looks awesome tonight at 6,300. No PJ Washington today. Keldon Johnson, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Klay Thompson, Harrison Barnes, Dylan Brooks. That's it for me as far as double digits. I'm always a little bit interested in any Knicks. That's kind of a common thing for me. I'm always willing to play the Knicks just because as long as the game stays close, I know they're going to play huge minutes. So I wouldn't be opposed to a Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, but currently not getting double digits. Jason Tatum also probably sees a little bit of a boost with Kristaps and Jaylen Brown out. I did not have those guys out in my latest run of lineup, so I want to show. I'll probably get to double digits Jason Tatum if I were playing the FanDuel slate.
Yeah. All right. How about power forward?
Power forward. Hang on one sec. I just refreshed. I am at Tari Eason again, getting a ton. Najee Marshall, Keldon Johnson, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, I really like tonight. I think Sacramento's been pretty poor defensively recently. They're playing against Washington, who is also pretty poor defensively. I think Sabonis has a big game in him soon, and this is a great spot to have it. So I really like him at 9,700. Okongwu at 7,800 looks really strong. Harrison Barnes, Pascal Siakam. That's it for me as far as double digits. I did write up Anthony Davis. Some concern about minutes limit there, but at 10,000, I still think he's a pretty strong play, particularly because that game has a close spread. They want to win the game. So I kind of wonder if the minutes limit is going to come up on Anthony Davis into the 30s, and it's going to be pretty low owned. So I do like him today also.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that as well, honestly. Like, if that starts trending up, I want to play that dude before he's too expensive, but who knows if it will. Okay, we get to go to the center spot now.
Yep, center spot. And I just reran just to see if anything changes drastically. Not so far. Okay, good to see. All right, at center it is again Domantas Sabonis. I'm getting to a lot, 9,700. Okongwu, Joker, who I have in my lineups. I think he's playing tonight. Looks good. Karl Anthony Towns, Alperen Sengun, I actually think is pretty sneaky here in a great matchup with Utah. No Fred VanVleet. Maybe we see more usage for Alperen Sengun. So I do kind of like him tonight. And then, oh man, how do you pronounce this? Mamukashvili.
The big Mamu. Yeah.
Big Mamu. Fast Eddie Fear, I used to watch his shows. Used to call him Mommy. So I'll just go with Mommy. I'm getting to just barely double digits there. And that's it as far as double digits.
Shout out to Eddie Fear. He was the first host that I ever did shows with. This was 8 years ago. It was a long time ago, but he's good people for sure. Okay, I want to kick it over to DraftKings, and I want to make sure everybody watching is getting the best deal in the industry. If you're playing multiple DFS sports, and this time of year you probably are, for a limited time, you get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99. Just $15 more than PGA Premium. It's only $5 more than NBA Premium. It does include content from March Madness, although, you got one weekend, we're limited time on that, but make sure you are taking advantage. Okay, let's head to DraftKings. Neil, what are we doing there?
First of all, Clark Kent says Jaylen Brown is in. Yeah, it was Drew Holiday was the other Celtic out, not Jaylen Brown, but that's a good note. I said he was out. DraftKings running a new set of lineups as we speak, but it's pretty far into it. So I can start here at point guard. Currently getting to a ton of Donovan Mitchell, 8,800. Looks like a really strong play, just a little bit too cheap. Spencer Dinwiddie at 6,300. Again, best game of the night, Atlanta, Dallas. Looks great. Trae Young looks like a really strong play at 9,800. Stephon Castle. AJ Johnson, who I believe we just got the starting lineup, and he is in it. So he looks like a strong play tonight at 5,000. Jaden Hardy, again, attacking that best game of the night. Dennis Schroeder getting the start for Detroit tonight. There's some concern that he could be rugged, but I still think I'll probably end up with double digits. I like him there. Tyrese Halliburton, I'm not getting into. I'm just going over players that I'm not getting into double digits, but I think I might bump Tyrese Halliburton. He's been on such a tear. Like he's had some really big games recently. Charlotte, not the best matchup in the world, but also like they're projected 118.75 team total. They should put up some points tonight. It's also not the worst matchup in the world. So I do think I'll probably get to double digits of Tyrese Halliburton. Maybe also Jalen Green with no Fred VanVleet. Could get a little more usage. I think he's pretty interesting. And then I have not given any kind of boost to Russell Westbrook's projection yet. I don't think hang on, let me find him. What's his price tag on DraftKings? Oh no, I did already. And I already mentioned that I have double digits there. So yeah, that's it as far as double digits at point guard for me.
Very good. Then you get to take a breath and we can move it to shooting guard. What do you like there?
Yep. Again, Julian Champagny. We talked about him on FanDuel. Looks awesome. Only 3,400. Really strong play. Donovan Mitchell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Stephon Castle, AJ Johnson, Jaden Hardy. A lot of the same names. Dennis Schroeder. That's it for me as far as double digits at shooting guard on DraftKings. Let me scroll real quick. I wrote up Karis LeVert. I think he's pretty intriguing just because it is a game with a close spread. His minutes have been kind of volatile, but I think he could see upper 20s minutes, and he's if he does, it's a strong spot for him against Dallas. So I do want to I'll probably get close to double digit ownership on Karis LeVert, right around there. Let me see if there's anybody else. Christian Brown could be interesting if he plays and we get a couple other starters out for Denver. I think he's probably in play regardless, assuming he plays, obviously. Nice matchup with San Antonio. They have been really poor defensively for the past month or so. So I think Brown is certainly interesting, although he'll be playing with tired legs tonight. But he's young. Nobody else I think that I need to talk about here.
Okay, small forward.
Small forward against Champagny.
Did we just do small forward or no?
No, that was shooting guard.
No. Okay, good. Because I saw Champagny and I was like, wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah. Also small forward eligible. So we got Champagny, Tari Eason, Harry Barnes, Keldon Johnson. That's it for me as far as double digits. Also Thompson, pretty interesting. I'm going to boost him slightly to get to double digits. Could have some more ball handling duties tonight. If we do get Schroeder somewhat limited. OG Anunoby, pretty close to double digits. Tatum, I think I'm going to boost Tatum a little bit and probably get to double digits there. And that is Karis LeVert we talked about. Justin Champagny, also playable. You could do a double Champagny lineup if you really want to, because Justin Champagny also in the starting lineup tonight. Amin Thompson I think he's playable against Utah. He's a really poor value at 8,600, but I still think Amin Thompson probably something. I think it'd be a mistake to have 0, probably.
Yeah, agreed. Fully. I never know who's going to get it done on Houston at any given night, but he is certainly capable of getting it done. Power forward.
Yep, power forward. Actually, Risa Shea, I got to point him out just because he is 4,700. Should play big minutes in again. One of the best matchups of the night. So I want to point him out at he's small forward and power forward. So I guess I could have waited there. All right. Power forward. Again, Mamukashvili, Mami at 3,500 looks like a really strong value play. I would not play. I currently have 98%. I'm going to dock his projection a little bit. I have concerns.
You got 98% Mami?
Yeah, in my latest run, which I haven't really changed much in my projections, but to be clear, I'm going to dock that. He is one that I definitely don't want that much, but I still might end up with something like 40 to 50%. I think is reasonable for Mami.
Yeah.
Tari Eason, Harry Barnes, Keldon Johnson. That's it currently as far as double digits. Pascal Siakam, he's been pretty bad, but again, I think he's, it's a game that they want to win. I think he's intriguing. And then again, Anthony Davis, I am going to give him a boost and make sure I get to double digits there.
Okay. That brings us to center. What are we doing there?
Again, Mamukashvili, Joker, Domantas Sabonis. Paul Reed is only 3,100, could see big minutes. I have 16%. I think that's a fine number for Paul Reed. Şengün, I think I'm actually going to boost a little bit more. I do really like Şengün in this matchup. I'm just under double digits of Cat currently, and I think I'll stick with that. Miles Turner kind of interesting. Like bigs against Charlotte has been something we have attacked forever, and Miles Turner, I kind of like his volatility at low ownership, so I'm going to give him a boost and probably get to double digits. I want to say Bam actually looked pretty good. Let me look in the Opto, and when I was looking at the defense versus archetype tool earlier, I thought that he stood out. So I kind of want to see if that is the case. If it is, I'll probably try to get to a little bit of Bam, but currently don't have much there.
Okay, good stuff. Neil, we are 10 minutes until lock. We're just going to take questions, and then when the questions dry up, we're going to call it, whether we've hit the lock or not. So if you have any questions about basketball, about baseball weather, or about dinner, or about flannels and axe throwing, you can bring them to us, and we will be ready. Let's see what we've got in the Discord. Neil, one lineup, your favorite stud or studs in a FanDuel GPP.
A FanDuel GPP one lineup. Let me see. What's the cutoff for a stud?
I think maybe 9K. I'm going to say 9.
So currently my highest would be Domantas Sabonis, but I think I'm going to go with Trae Young. I actually think I just want to take advantage of that game in general. 9,600 for Trae Young, probably my favorite stud.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. FanDuel Cash. It's a 3v3 for you here.
Oh, God.
Mitchell, Antonio Reeves, and Harry Barnes, or DeLon Wright, Tari Eason, and Najee Marshall.
Ooh, that's close. Probably the second one overall. I think Donovan Mitchell should be in your cash lineup, so I was tempted to go there, but I think Najee Marshall also makes for a really strong play. And then there was I forget what the
Tari
Eason also really strong. Yeah, so those two I think probably break it that way.
I felt the same way. All right. Test says, what are your thoughts on King Kong Wu in a DK GPP?
Yeah, what's the price tag on a Kongwu? What do I have there? I currently don't have any, but he's projected for very little ownership. I actually kind of like it. It's a tough matchup with Brow, but again, that's a game that should be competitive, should be high scoring. So I think that makes sense as just a low scoring pivot in an otherwise, like, you don't want to play a lot of players that are low owned like that, but I think as like a low owned piece in an otherwise chalky lineup, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Very good. This is a name I'm not familiar with. Jalen Pickett in a good spot in Denver.
He started last night. Kind of depends on what's there in Denver tonight. I suspect he's not going to play that much. I think it's going to be the Russell Westbrook show tonight more so than Pickett. He is, he's not like a particularly strong point per minute producer. I don't think I'm going to go to Pickett tonight, but he'll look okay after some of those guys get ruled out probably.
Okay, we'll go to Ray's question. He says, Colby Jones called up, not starting, but is he playable?
Oh, I thought it was not playing tonight. I thought it was ruled out. Let me see.
We got time if you think you can.
Well, let me see. I got to find the latest update there. Colby Jones listed out Wednesday. So yeah, Don't play Colby Jones.
Yep, there you go. All right, never mind that. Let's see. Which Champagny should I play tonight? Now, you mentioned that both were in play. Which one is the better play here? Because I don't want to get people
San Antonio.
San Antonio Champagny. And then I like Ray's thought here. He says, stack the Thompson and Champagny bros.
Yeah, you could. This is a good night for it.
Total bro lineup?
Love it. Yeah.
I approve of that. Let's see. Scrolling down. Caught up there. Okay, DK straight up. Who scores more tonight? DK points. Trae Young or Sabonis? Those were your two favorite spend up options over on FanDuel. With DK scoring, who gets you more?
They project very, very similarly. I will go with Trae Young just because I think that game is like more likely to stay close and he's more likely to see big minutes.
Very good.
It's very close though. Love both.
Yeah. Okay. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit us with the thumbs up, the like, and subscribe. It's free content for a reason. We're trying to get it out to the masses here. But if you're not engaging, that never happens. If you got some QQs, get them in now because the show is almost coming to a close. OS says thoughts on Pritchard. What didn't Kirkwood say? I think Kirkwood in the prior show said he happened to like Pritchard. Where do you stand?
Yeah, Pritchard was like his play of the night. I think he's playable. He's not like a priority for me at all. I mean, on DraftKings, he's 6,000. And we do have Jason Tatum in. So I don't think he's going to have some huge role, but he's like playable, I'd say. He's a good, fine contrarian play.
Yeah.
5,400 on FanDuel. He actually looks better on FanDuel. I had 6% in my first run. So he looks better on FanDuel at 5,400.
Alexander says, have there been Spidey Bombs offered? Spidey Bombs are an exclusive property of TJ Zwarich, and he's not here. So I can't give out the Spidey Bombs without him. And also, I have no idea who's playing baseball because I've been just trapped in the weather world. So I can't help you with that one. Cornette at 5K. He's 5K? Cornette at 5K on DraftKings. Did he have a really big game recently or something? I feel like I'm remembering that.
I think we've just had players out at 5K on DraftKings. How much? He still projects as like worse than a 5x value. So yeah, it kind of makes sense with Horford. Like I'm not opposed to it. He did just put up 44.5 fantasy points on the 29th. So
that's what I was thinking of.
He's capable. I think he's playable, but not like a huge priority.
Yeah. All right. DK, your favorite man in the util at 4,500 or less. Util 4,500 on DK.
All right, let me see. Man, it's tough. It's probably actually Champagny, but I assume Champagny already in the lineup. In which case, Tristan Vukovic looks like a pretty strong play. Chris Paul is fine there. Oh, it's probably actually DeLone Wright for me, 4,500 or less, assuming you don't already have him in your lineup.
Okay. Very good. Hoosier saying Banner says Najee Marshall still $17 in these Yahoo streets. With he was like the poor man's PJ Washington when PJ was out, and now PJ is out tonight, right? And his price has dropped because Najee Marshall's price got up to like 8K or something absurd. But now his price is down. All right, yeah, you're somewhat on board.
Yeah, no, I think he's a really strong play actually.
Yeah. Let's see what we're doing. If 4 out of 5 Nuggets are out, how many Denver garbage guys are we playing?
I'm still probably not playing more than I think at that point I'll loosen up my optimizer rules to allow for 4 if I still have lineups that have, that many spots left over at that point. But I'm not like planning ahead for that. Currently, I'm setting my limit to 3 from any team.
Yeah. All right. OS says Carrington at 5.3 or Pritchard at 5.4 on FanDuel.
Let's see. Carrington, I think projects better and he's cheaper.
Okay. Well, there we go. We've done the things. We answered the questions, and we made it almost to lock. I've got to get some golf content out. We've got the Masters next week, correct? Does that sound right to you?
Sounds right from what I'm hearing. People are excited about it.
Next week, Texas Valero Open this week. I just got the forecast up on RotoGrinders if you haven't checked it out, and I got to write some articles on that as well. Let's see. We got a comment here. Yep. Okay. I think it's time to bounce on out of here. So for Neil, for Carty, who graciously joined us earlier, for Steve, who was very upset at his Mets, and our wonderful production team, always working hard behind the scenes here, guys. We appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been